Whether you own a small business or manage one, you know that the customer experience isn't just another thing. It's the only thing. Angel Tussey and Eric Raymer know it too, and they're starting a revolution in how people treat people in business. They're here to help you get your business right. And now, it's time for Experience Pros with Angel and Eric.
Welcome to Experience Pros with Angel and Eric, the most positive business talk show in America, where small business is big business and your business is our business.
We've got an exciting program for you today. In our Fan Bragging segment, we take a closer look at a college professor going the extra mile. And then business coach, Vision Expert Carey Conley heads outdoors looking for entrepreneurs who have kept their New Year's resolutions.
We'll talk inbound marketing with expert Darrell Stern and find out what it's like to launch a startup from entrepreneur and executive chef JP Krause.
And if you're into planning, and more specifically planners, you'll want to stay tuned as Eric and I take a look at some popular business tools. And then it's time to get your recipe on, your rum recipes.
I love rum recipes. All that's ahead, but first, perhaps we should offer a bit of a public service announcement.
A public service announcement?
Yeah, it's come to our attention that some business owners have great ideas for their business names, but haven't well thought out how those names translate to the internet. It's time for a little thing we call, What Were They Thinking? And before we get into these good ideas gone bad, we have to tell you, every one of these businesses are 100% legit, and yet somehow their marketing efforts have been compromised by an unfortunate lack of forethought. Here's our first example. Ever wonder in show business, who are the agents behind the actors? Wouldn't you like to know that who handles the accounts of Star Wars John Boyega or pop star Taylor Swift? All you need to do is search the #1 choice for entertainment industry contacts, whorepresents.com. That's whorepresents.com. Whoops. Be careful out there. What were they thinking?
Well, here at Experience Pros, we're all about recycling, and we're pretty sure America is too. So, where do you go online? How about AmericanScrapMetal.com?
Oh.
That's AmericanScrapMetal.com. What were you thinking?
All right. We all know that from time to time we need a little help figuring life out, right?
Right.
Who are you going to call? A therapist?
Sure.
Makes sense?
Right?
Sure. Be careful when you look up either of these two websites. The first one is therapistfinder.com.
No.
The
no.
what? What were they thinking? And of course, there's therapistinabox.com. Folks, these are actual sites designed to help you find help. What were they thinking?
Oh, I think that's the worst one ever.
Right?
Well, finally, you're thinking about relocating, moving across the country. And the little town of Winters, California sounds ideal, right?
I love Winters, California.
They've even got a community page online where you can check all the news that's fit to print. It can be found at wintersexchange.com. That's Winters.
That's not what that says.
Exchange.com. Again, what were you thinking?
Well, there's that segment. You know, it's time for a little bit of viewer mail. And we recently received an email from a viewer who asks us the following question. Dear Angel and Eric, I own a consulting business, and it's up to me to go out and find my own clients. I usually do this by attending networking events and then following up with the people that I want to work with. Sounds right. Yeah. Recently, I met someone who would absolutely fit into my ideal client profile. And so I called up and set a one-on-one coffee date. Well, they stood me up, thinking that they just might have got lost. I called and left a voicemail asking for a redo. When I didn't hear back, I called again 2 more times. Now I feel like a stalker, and I don't know what to do. I really want to work with this person, but I think I drove them off. Signed, Desperate in Detroit.
Well, thank you so much, Desperate. That raises a great question. What do you do when a potential client you want to work with goes dark on you? Do you, A, email to say you're just following up, and could they let you know ASAP?
B, should you email to say you're following up on your previous follow-up?
Or C, say you're all booked. Sorry, you missed out. Too bad.
Or D, write them this email. Hi, potential client. I understand you probably haven't gotten around to thinking about our phone conversation just yet, but I wanted to check in to see if maybe you're leaning towards a yay or nay. No pressure either way. I'd love to work with you, and I'm really hoping we can tee up our calendars to make this thing happen. I believe that together we can rock this event or launch or project. But if it doesn't happen, I'm behind you 100%, and I wish you all the best. Respectfully yours, Desperate in Detroit.
We are desperate, right? Now think about this. You want to make sure that you're reaching out to them and connecting with them in a place that doesn't put them on the defense. You want to keep the answer open, right? You want to keep the possibility open. And the chances are they just got busy.
Right.
Right? And they are. They're just busy. And they might have overlooked. They got busy in their calendar. And too often we think when somebody doesn't respond to us, it's because they don't like us and don't want to do business, right?
Right.
But that's not usually the case.
No.
They're just busy. So if you can reach out to them in a way, in a super friendly email that says, no pressure, either way, we're good to go. But you've got to be really careful about the verbiage, because when you send something via email or text,
there's no tone.
There's no tone. And I don't know why people do this, but they always come at it with a sarcastic. I remember somebody saying, they sent an email to somebody saying, good luck. I'm not, I don't remember what the previous context was, but at the end of it, the phrase was good luck. Seems nice, right?
Of course.
The person on the receiving end of that email read it as good luck.
Oh.
Which is not how they intended it.
No.
So you have to be really cautious if you're sending these emails. So here's what I often do. When I'm sending an email that I think could be somehow construed as a little bit snarky or sarcastic, I follow it up with a phone call. So they hear my voice and they hear, it's all good. I'm friendly, no pressure, I'm not snarky, I'm not sarcastic. And so it puts the voice and the tone, so when they read my email, then the tone is delivered.
This is a note to all snarky and sarcastic people. Please don't pick up the phone. That would be an inappropriate thing for you to do.
Good luck with that.
Good luck. The Experience Pros way is simply to be positive and offer another opportunity. And if a sales call has gone cold, probably one of the better things that you can do is stop everything and invite them to something maybe that you're going to, and say, instead of trying to seem desperate in Detroit, maybe you should just invite them to something that you find value in, because they probably find value in it as well.
Absolutely. And actually, an invitation is one of my favorite things. When I haven't heard from somebody and you can't call again and say, do you want to buy from me now? How about now?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how close are we to making this transaction happen?
And it really does start to feel like stalking, right? When you've called over and over again and they're not returning your call. But an invitation is always accepted. So if you're going to maybe a ribbon cutting, if you're involved in a Chamber of Commerce,
any of those networking events,
anything at all, call them up and say, I'd love to have you come as my guest. You know what else is always good too is if you actually call and give them a referral. I have somebody I want to refer to do business with.
Yes.
A legitimate referral. Don't make this stuff up.
No.
Or even buy something from them. Call up and place an order always has a long way for some goodwill as well.
Absolutely. Remember, desperation has an aroma.
It's
all
not.
right. No, it's not good at all. All right, it's time for a segment that we call Fan Bragging. And Fan Bragging is where we intentionally take the time to recognize acts of kindness in business, or in this case, in academia.
In academia?
Yeah.
I like it.
The focus of our Fan Bragging story today is a University of Louisville professor, Darrell Krebs, who, when at the last minute, his ROTC student and mother of 2 children lost her babysitter, he stepped up and watched the kiddos while Monica Willard took her military history final exam.
Oh my gosh. So here's a chance for, when we talk about a Fan Bragging story, it's always where you could have gone the other way, right? You could have overlooked it, stepped aside, or ignored the situation. But a Fan Bragging story is one of those things where you actually have the decision that you could make. And here this Professor Krebs, his student, she's an ROTC student, a mom. She was going to miss her exam because the babysitter canceled. And moms, you can't always control this. I'm always really surprised at, the non-moms out there who, when somebody says my babysitter canceled, they're like, well, you should have planned ahead better and you should have had a babysitter. Okay, when a babysitter cancels, that's your plan A. You don't usually have plan B, C, and D.
Yeah.
And so here's the professor taking just some empathy, right, on his student. She's come this far. If she doesn't take the exam, then all is lost. And all because she didn't have a babysitter, so he said yes.
Photos of Professor Krebs caring for the 2 children, 5 years old and under, started to go viral across all the various social media outlets, I should say. He insisted that looking after the kids while their mom, a non-commissioned officer, completed her educational goals was simply common sense.
Common sense.
Yeah. It's stories like this that remind us that everything's right in the world of business and education. While we know that not every story is positive, we choose to focus on those that remind us of that. Positivity is a choice. So hats off and salutes to both Professor Daniel Krebs and to Monica Willard of Louisville, Kentucky for service, one, to humanity, and again, service to our country.
If you have a fan bragging story that you'd like to share with us, by all means, use the hashtag FanBrag and let us know who's getting it right in business. Who knows? Maybe we'll even use your story in an upcoming episode of Experience Pros with Angel and Eric.
I love this story. I love the humanity of it all. And again, we do encourage you to use that hashtag FanBrag and share your stories of great customer service or somebody just going that extra mile with us. We'd love to put that on the air. Coming up next, are you one of the millions in America who make New Year's resolutions only to fail in your good intentions? Carey Conley hits the streets and talks to entrepreneurs in one Colorado city.
And still ahead, Darrell Stern helps you tell your business story by sharing the benefits, not the features.
And at one point they go, wait a minute, you can do that.
Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.